The stock markets throughout the world have been in turmoil, and with billions of pounds and dollars wiped off share values. George Park, you are an investment banker.
Yes, I am. Yes.
Could you say, what does being an investment banker mean?
It means always having to say, I'm sorry, it seemed a good idea at the time.
Could you give me some sort of example, a concrete example of what you've been doing?
Yes. For instance, this morning I was advising clients, fund managers and so forth,
yes,
not to touch BT stock with a barge pole.
BT? For what reason?
Well, it's a very, very sad story.
Yeah.
Just a year ago, BT was making thousands of pounds a second in profit, and now they're £32 billion in debt.
Well, that's a huge amount of money, isn't it?
Is it? Well, yes, I suppose it is.
Yeah, I mean, what went wrong? What could possibly...
Well, you see, they spent a lot of that money on buying various companies in various parts of the world.
But if they're now in difficulties, couldn't they just sell the companies and get their money back?
That's very funny. I mean, if only life were that simple.
Yes.
But as you yourself said, you know, the stock market in the last year has plunged, and so these companies are now only worth half of what BT originally paid for them.
Oh, really?
What time is it?
8:05.
Less than half.
So, I mean, this is catastrophic. Who could have been, you know, stupid enough to advise them to do this?
I did. Well, not just me alone. I mean, I was part of a team of investment institutions that was persuading BT to make these acquisitions.
Yes. I see, but you must regret it now, do you?
No, not at all.
No.
BT regrets it.
Yeah.
No. You see, in any case, I was on a percentage of the deal, so the more they paid for the companies, the more I made. In fact, it was a very good year for me, because it wasn't only BT, you know, it was NatWest and
Vodafone
and Glaxo. A lot of money sloshing about.
Now, when your client comes to you, what is it actually that they want from you? What they pay you for, essentially?
My expertise.
Yes.
And my experience of the market, because, you see, my job isn't just to see what the situation is now. I mean, any fool can do that. No, my job is to see what the situation is going to be in a year or 2 years' time.
But then, couldn't you have foreseen that the stock market would collapse?
No one could have seen that. No, it's just one of those things that happens. You know, nobody knows why.
Yes, but you said it was your job to foresee these things.
Yes. And looking back now, I can see that I did foresee it. I just didn't realise that I did at the time.
I see, yes.
Because, you see, none of these things just happen.
You just said they did.
No, but we've moved on since then. Now, you see, it's one of the great myths in the stock market that it's possible to become very, very rich overnight for no reason and for not doing anything at all. I mean, and experience has taught us that this has never happened, and it never will happen.
That's a sort of rule, then, is it?
It's an absolute cast iron rule.
Right, okay.
And then a friend rang me up from New York.
Yes.
And said that he put some money in an online company, which was a kind of airline ticket bucket shop called Priceline.com, which was floated on the stock exchange and was worth more than United Airlines put together. And then, of course, the same thing happened over here. You remember lastminute.com, which has never made a profit, but at its height was valued at £733 million.
Yes, so what you're talking about here is the start of what is now called the new economy, the technology boom.
Absolutely. And one or two of us thought, hang on, why don't we advise our investors that there is a chance that they could get very, very rich overnight for no reason at all, and without doing anything.
Yeah, but didn't you say that there was a golden rule that could never happen?
Yes, but we thought that it just might happen now, although it never had.
Yes. In spite of all your experience in the market, you still went ahead.
Absolutely. Yes. And the possibilities were endless. I'll give you an example. A 17-year-old boy called Rodney came to see me with an idea for a company called JewishPorn.com.
JewishPorn.com, yes.
That's it, yes, that's right.
And
yes.
what sort of thing did this company do?
Well, at the time, it wasn't doing anything, actually.
No.
It was just an idea churning around in this 17-year-old boy's head.
Yes.
And had been churning around since he was 16 and a half.
So, when Rodney came to you, what was it he was looking for?
He was looking for finance for research and development.
It involves what?
Essentially, it involved buying a large number of pornographic magazines.
Yes. The research
That
side
was
of it,
the research.
yes.
And reading them.
The development side, yes. And so you saw a potential for expansion here, did you?
Yes. I could see that there were various, potentialities. I mean, the company had four things going for it. The word Jewish, the word porn, the word dot, and the word com.
Right. So you got behind Rodney, did you?
I did. It seemed the safest place to be. Yes, I did. And within weeks, I managed to raise the finance and floated him on the stock exchange.
And successfully at all?
Staggering success.
Really?
Yes. On the Tuesday, he was worth, conservatively, £1.50 in pocket money.
Yes.
And by the Thursday, he was worth £37 million.
But didn't it occur to you that this was some kind of irrational frenzy going on here?
No, hang on a minute. I'm sorry, that betrays a complete misapprehension of the way that investment managers and bankers behave.
Yes,
you see, because I couldn't persuade investors to part with their hard-earned money if they didn't think I was sane.
No, but I mean, this boy's assets didn't really exist. He was only rich on paper.
Well, I'm sane on paper. And in any case, you see, there were various solid economic reasons behind this technical boom. I mean, take JewishPorn.com.
Yes.
I mean, it had the tremendous benefit of being in the vanguard, the first in that market niche.
That's important, is it?
That's terribly important.
Yes.
It gives the company a permanent, advantage.
Yes.
One only has to think of trains.
Trains?
I mean, the fact that all trains that run now are owned by George Stephenson Railways Limited.
Yes, they're not, though, are they?
Aren't they? No, well, transport isn't my field.
No.
But, you see, there was another economic fundamental, which is cost.
Costs.
Yes, because compared to traditional industries, you see, online companies have very low costs.
Do they?
I mean, for example, the capital cost of JewishPorn.com was a second-hand computer in Rodney's bedroom.
Yes, and the pornographic magazines, of course.
And the pornographic magazines, and a modest outlay on drugs.
Yes.
But, compared with ICI, that's a drop in the ocean.
But now, of course, this bubble has burst, the high-tech bubble has burst, and it's dragging down the rest of the stock market with it.
Yes, sadly, that's true.
And so we could now be heading for a full-blown recession, which would bring misery to all of us.
Oh, no, not us. You.
Yes, but, I mean, don't you feel in some way responsible for
Well, in a
this?
way, yes, I do feel responsible, but I mean, I have two very great consolations.
Do you?
The first is that I didn't lose any money of my own. It was other people's money.
Yes.
And the other is that when I thought that there was a rule which said that you couldn't get rich overnight for no reason and for doing nothing at all, it seems that I was right all along.
Yes.
And so I'm even cleverer than I thought I was.
But now, what's going to happen now? I mean, how is the market going to recover?
Well, it will only recover when people like me,
Investment bankers,
bankers, people with enormous maturity of judgment and shrewdness.
And flair, yes.
And flair,
yes.
Flair, yes.
Yes.
Decide that they're going to act.
Yes, but this must be...
It's a terribly difficult decision. It is, really. It depends on fine-tuned judgment and split-second timing.
Yes, absolutely must do. Yeah, I mean, on what basis will you make that judgment?
Well, I shall look around and see what everybody else is doing, and then I'll do it. And then everyone will be doing it.
The same. Everybody does the same. Thank you, George.
Absolutely. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
I tell you what I've decided. I've been thinking about it for a long time now. I'm going to convert to Islam.
Well, it's a bit of a major step, isn't it, Leslie? I mean, you know, have you had instruction?
Well, a chap came round, yeah, very pleasant. Yes.
No, but I mean, it's going to be a huge change. I mean, what persuaded you?
Well, they said I get 20% off my central heating bills and a discount on a new boiler.
It's a bit extreme, isn't it? I mean, have they told you all the things that you've got to do?
I don't care what I got. I mean, my boiler's so unreliable. I don't mind, really. That's what I have to do.
But you're going to have to pray 5 times a day.
Well, I do that already. It's not the boiler going out.
Well, and what about you have to go to Mecca once a year?
Oh, don't like bingo.
And then you have to give up alcohol, you know. That's straight away.
Well,
yes,
I didn't say anything about that.
Yes.
Oh, God, well, you see, that's the trouble. I mean, it's my fault, really. They all say, don't they, that you should read the small print. I mean, I'm not going to do that.
Well, you've got to. I mean, if you're going to convert to Islam, that's the thing you do.
Perhaps it's not Islam. What's a name like that? Seaboard.
That's a big relief for me, because, you know, I don't like the idea of being in the pub alone while you're off on jihad.
No, well...
I have no one to talk to.
Well, no, I wouldn't dream of anything like that. No, I mean, no. I don't, actually, to be honest, I don't really hold with all these foreign influences coming in. I don't think we should lose our Britishness, you know.
But what is Britishness, Leslie? I mean, that's the big question. I mean, have you read Secure Borders, Safe Haven, Integration with Diversity in Modern British Society?
Is that the one where the woman falls in love with the pirate?
No. It's a white paper published by the Home Office, and it points out that we are a multicultural society, and we've always been one.
Well, that's absolutely rubbish. This is sorry. I mean, what is multicultural about this pub?
Well, the darts matches.
The darts matches?
Yes, just because, you know, just the way we count. Because that's what the Arabs taught us, you see, and the Arabs are Muslim.
No. Well, no, they didn't teach me to count. That was Miss Halliburton in 2D.
No. Long time ago.
Oh, right.
You know, if it wasn't for Arabic numerals, we'd still be using Roman numerals.
What's that got to do with our darts matches?
Well, it would make scoring very, very difficult. Because, you know, you get Gordon by the dartboard shouting, CLXXX. And Leslie, you're left with double X1V. Go on for hours and hours.
No, that's a long time ago. I mean, I'm a member of the. I didn't believe, you see, in having all these foreign beliefs forced down our throat. I'm a member of the Church of England. I can sit here in this pub. I can look out the window. I can see St Saviour's across the road opposite, and it's been there for 1,000 years, and it's a tremendous comfort to me.
Yes.
That I know it's always going to be there, and I'll never have to go in it.
Well, that's very true, but, you know, multiculturalism won't alter that, because, you see, Tony Blair and David Blunkett, they think faith is very, very important.
Yes, but which faith?
Doesn't matter. Any faith will do.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the trouble with all these alien religions, you see, is they take them seriously.
Oh, please. You shouldn't use the word religion, because that's inflammatory.
Oh.
No, we like to use the phrase members of a faith community.
Oh, right, yes.
And all the evidence suggests that if you belong to a faith community, then you're better behaved and have more social responsibility.
Yes, I suppose that is a point, yes. I suppose that's why, isn't that why those people stand on the street corners screaming at Catholic children on their way to school every day?
Well, that's a different issue, I think.
Yes. Oh, but anyway, at least they're screaming in English, which is something. Because you see, that's the other thing about the immigrants and people asylum seekers and all that. They don't speak English.
No.
I mean, you remember those 2 Kosovans who were in the village last year?
Oh, yes. I used to see them hanging about the village shop.
Yes. And Mr. Patel said he could never understand a word they said.
Yes, although, you know, most immigrants do pick up a few simple phrases in the course of their daily lives.
Yeah, well, like, fuck off back to Pakiland, that sort of...
That sort of phrase, yes.
Yes.
That used to puzzle the Kosovans a lot.
Yes, it did. Although they did go, didn't they?
They did.
They did go. I mean, I haven't seen them around the village since last bonfire night. And talking of bonfire night, it was rather unusual this year. Well, I mean, last year, wasn't it?
You mean having two Guy Fawkes on top of the bonfire? Why was that?
I don't know, some decision by the committee. I don't know.
I suppose so. Well, you know, but get back to what we were talking about, you know, immigration.
Immigration,
and,
yes.
the problem of language. Well, that's all changed because David Blunkett is going to make it compulsory for these people to attend classes in English.
Oh, well, that's a start,
and not only in English, but also to learn about British culture and British history.
Oh, well, that's wrong. That's wrong, you see.
Why?
Well, I mean, if these immigrants, they have 2 weeks for classes in history, they'll know more about British history than most British people do.
But you have to take a positive view, Leslie. You know, maybe a very, very good thing to have streets that are full of people with different colours, different coloured costumes, playing different musical instruments. And at the same time, people who know when the Battle of Waterloo was and know the English for, I think someone's stolen my mobile phone.
Yes.
I mean, it adds to the diversity of British culture.
Well, I don't want diversity.
And then, of course, there is the economic argument.
What?
Well, you know, because some of these immigrants will be willing to do jobs that nobody else wants.
Well, like chairman of rail tracks.
No, that's just silly.
Oh, sorry.
Just silly. No, I mean, you know, jobs like clearing out drains and teaching mathematics.
Well, see, I'm not sure. I want some Afghan clearing out our drains.
Why not?
Well, because they're foreigners, that's why not.
But
they make Audrey very uneasy.
But, Leslie, there won't be foreigners when they've been to these classes. And on top of that, they'll have to swear an oath.
Well, they'll probably swear quite a few oaths when they see the state of Audrey's drains.
No, I meant an oath of allegiance.
Oh,
and in fact, in the white paper, David Blunkett, he proposed an oath which I found so inspiring, I actually wrote it down.
Really?
I wanted to read it to you. It says, I swear I will give my allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, and to the United Kingdom. I will uphold its democratic values and fulfil my duties and obligations as a British citizen.
Well, I wouldn't agree to that.
Why not?
Well, I mean, I don't mind swearing allegiance to the Queen, but I'm buggered if I'm going to do it for that twerp, what's his name, Edward. I mean, he's an heir and successor, isn't he?
Well, he is, I suppose.
Well, there you are.
That's true, but then you are a citizen already, so you wouldn't have to swear anyway.
Well, I should hope not. And what are these duties and obligations I'm supposed to fulfil? Vote Labour, I suppose.
No, that'll only be for the foreigners.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
I should think so.
But I mean, the whole point of it is to make British citizenship a prize that's really worthwhile.
How? I mean, I don't know how you're going to do that.
Well, it'll be very, very uplifting for them. They'll you know, once uplifting. They'll have ceremonies, you know, where they'll swear the oath and they'll get their certificate, and then they'll really, really feel that at last they're British, and that's something to celebrate.
Yeah, what, being British? Yeah.
Yes. So they'll go out and drink 20 pints of lager, have a curry, and vomit over a policeman. Yeah. Georgi Paret.
Yes.
You are the defense minister of Turkmenistan.
No, wait a moment. No, I might be, I might not be. It's classified information.
Yes, but you are in fact from Turkmenistan.
Oh yes, I'm from Turkmenistan. Yes,
yes, and of course,
as far as I go. That's as far as I go.
As far as I go.
As far as you go. Yes.
Yes. Now, Turkmenistan, of course, was formerly within the Soviet Union, wasn't it?
Yes, now independent country. It's very nice.
I'm sure. It's wonderful. Now, just for the benefit of our audience who may not know, could you tell us where Turkmenistan is?
But you don't know where Turkmenistan is? Yes. What do they teach you in schools?
This is the dumbing down I read about. No, okay. Turkmenistan, you go to Afghanistan, you go up to Uzbekistan, you turn left, there you are.
And it is mainly desert there, isn't it?
Okay, desert, so what's wrong with that? It's a desert, yeah, we like it, we like the desert.
No, sorry,
as it happens, we like it.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to...
At least it's not pissing with rain all the time.
No, that's certainly very true. Is this your first visit to...
a young man, 2 years Sandhurst, but learning, you know... yes. But after that, no, it's first visit.
I see.
Yes.
And I assume you're wearing your national costume, are you?
No, so when I get up in the morning, this is what I put on. You have some objection to it?
No, not at all. No.
It's just ordinary clothes in Turkmenistan.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Yes.
The hat is wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very,
Yes.
very good. What brings you to this country?
Well, I've been traveling to many capitals of the world. We are very worried in Turkmenistan about proliferation of nuclear weapons.
Oh, yes. So you're thinking about Iraq, North Korea, India, Pakistan...
Israel, yes. But also with other, like Iran and Libya.
Yes.
I travel all these places.
Yes, and Syria.
Syria also, yes, I go to Syria, but they don't have nuclear weapons. Chemical weapons, yes, they have stockpiled hundreds of tons of the mustard, the sarin, the VX, the nerve gas.
Yes. And did they show you these?
Sure. They look at me, and I'm looking at it. But I don't think it'll be very effective.
No.
Oh shit! I don't know. I don't know. I just started. I don't know. No, carry on.
No. But your main concern is this.
Sorry, no, I can't.
The main concern is the spread of nuclear weapons.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Estimate there are 1,500 metric tons military fissile nuclear materials scattered everywhere in the world, nobody knows where, in Uzbekistan near us, and also Ukraine and Russia.
Yes.
They're lying about these, nobody knows. You know, there are no records.
No.
They're kept very bad, no security, in wooden sheds, no lock on door.
Yeah.
Security men, they're not paid for months on end. No. They're very depressed, very, very drunk. It's a nightmare.
Yes.
Nightmare.
It sounds terribly dangerous.
Oh, it's very incredible. In Russia, this stuff, they have it 100 cities. All over Russia they store this stuff. Many of these cities under control of mafia.
Really?
Yes.
And of course, this nuclear material is, of course, very easily smuggled over international frontiers,
Simple.
Isn't it?
1 kilo of plutonium is the size of a golf ball.
Size of a golf ball?
Yes.
Really?
Yes,
so anyone who really wanted to get hold of this stuff, they could?
Oh, but you think it'd be easy, but no, not so easy. You know, I go up and down now looking try to buy it, and for 3 days I look around before I find a person willing to sell it to me. 3 days.
3 days. Well, that doesn't sound very long.
Well, it would be sure. It'd be long to you if you're walking about for 3 days in this hat. This heavy hat made sheep's
really,
hat.
Yes. So where did you get hold of it?
At the premier Turkmen hat shop, number 3 Tolstoy Street, Ashgabat. It's a very good place. Many different colors, all sizes.
Yes. No, I was actually sorry. I was actually thinking more of the weapons grade plutonium.
Yes. No, in Munich, in Germany, I found a man who is, I don't know where come from. He wouldn't say which country, but a black market. He sold me black market. He has no questions.
I see. And how much did you buy?
1 kilo. I pay standard market rate $1.5 million.
Really? Well, that doesn't sound very much for this.
Sounds a lot of money to me for a thing the size of a golf ball.
Yes, I suppose if you look at it that way, yes. And what have you done with it?
I haven't done anything with it. I got it with me. Look, here it is. No, look at it. Go on. It's all right. It won't go off.
Mr. Parrott, I'm sorry to say that this actually is a golf ball.
What? Oh, shit. And what happened? Yeah, I played golf this morning. First time for many years. at your Wentworth. No, I must have got mixed up. Don't worry, it's no problem.
But I mean, this is incredibly
No,
dangerous.
no problem. I give them telephone and they find. Yes.
No. I was thinking more of in a global situation. You
Why?
know,
Why
the spreading of these weapons.
Why do you say it's?
Well, because it dramatically increases the likelihood of a war.
Oh no! On contrary, it guarantees peace. Look, I tell you, next week after, sometime, America invade Iraq. For why? Because America know Iraq don't have nuclear weapons. They think they might have them 5-10 years time, but not now. Not now. They don't have them now. Compare North Korea. America don't invade North Korea because they know they have nuclear weapons now.
So, I mean, what you're actually saying is that in order to be sure that America won't invade Turkmenistan, you have to have nuclear weapons?
Yeah, sure. Look, if you don't want to be invaded by America, you could do three things. One, you don't have nuclear weapons, but you pretend you do. That's okay, except they'd send in weapons inspectors. They don't find anything, then you're in trouble. Second, you have nuclear weapons, but you don't declare them, you don't admit it, but everybody knows you got it, that's a good trick, but you have to be Israel to get away with that one. Or third, you go around like we were from Turkmenistan looking for explosive golf ball.
But, I mean, what makes you think that America has any interest in invading Turkmenistan?
Well, I don't know. They'll come sooner or later. They get around to us, you know. They're very unpredictable people, the Americans. They're very easily upset, you know. They've gone there. Rogue state is what we call them. Rogue state. I mean, the way they look, they say, well, today you are oasis of stability. Tomorrow you are state of concern. Day after that, you are axis of evil. Day after that, bang! Oh, no.
I mean, please, Turkmenistan is a backward, poverty-stricken desert in Central Asia.
Will you stop going on about the desert?
Sorry.
We like the desert. You get very nice sunsets. But also, listen, my friend, I tell you something. Turkmenistan has 5th largest reserves of natural gas in the world. You don't think that interests America after the Iraqi oil run out? You what?
So you're going to feel safer if you have nuclear weapons?
Listen, every country in the world better get nuclear weapons pretty damn quick, otherwise they get on George Bush hit list.
Yes, I see.
And we have other advantage also. We our political leadership, big advantage.
Oh, yes. I know a little about this. Your president, Niasov, yes, he's considered in some circles, isn't he, something of a megalomaniac?
Be careful, choice of words, please.
No, you object to the word megalomaniac.
No, he's a megalomaniac. No, you can't use the word Niasov. I know that is his name, but now it's not legal to call him that. We now have to call him Turkmenbashi. Turkmenbashi means head of all Turkmen.
Oh, right.
He's probably, you have to address him as beloved leader Sapamura Turkmenbashi the Great.
Really? And I'm told that he's renamed a city after him.
He has renamed many cities after him. Many cities in Turkmenistan now called Turkmenbashi. Very confusing for post office.
And wasn't there something about changing the names of the days of the week and the months of the year?
Yes, he changes all those things and calls him after himself, like things after him, Turkmenbashi. Yes. But also after his mother, his late mother. He was very fond of his mother. Well, we're all fond of our mothers, but we know we don't go mad about it, do we? But he called me, for example. We now have no word for bread in Turkmenistan. He's now called dictator's mother.
You're making this up.
No. All this is true. So now you say, would you like another slice of dictator's mother, please?
Really?
The well-known...
Yes.
The well-known saying, I know which side of the dictator's mother is better.
Yes. man cannot live by dictator's mother alone. No, this is obviously true. But I mean, in what sense is it an advantage for?
Well, no. Also, the other thing is the months of the year are called. He calls January after him, Turkmenbashi.
Oh, of course.
But also April is now called dictator's mother.
Really? Really?
So you have to say, "I'll see you at the end of dictator's mother."
Yes.
Yes, and the dictator's mother very wet for time of year.
Yes. Yes. Wet and windy. Yes.
Certainly, yes.
But in what sense is this, having a somewhat eccentric leader, in what sense is that an advantage?
Oh, because if you have nuclear weapons and leader who is, a little bit, then people are very careful of you, They don't say, we don't call his bluff because you don't know whether he's bluffing, and he doesn't know whether he's bluffing.
Mr. Perret, thank you very much for talking.
No, thank you. You are a senior officer in MI5.
I'm not at liberty to say, as a senior officer in MI5, it's essential that my identity remains secret for operational reasons. Yes. I'd be grateful if you called me X.
Well, X, I noticed that you have got a paper bag over your head.
You're right. Yes, this is standard procedure and, in fact, standard issue. This has been made up for me by our technical department.
Yes. Why does it say, please take your litter home on it?
Well, that's to put people off the scent.
Ah, yes.
You see, it's what we in the intelligence services call disinformation. And after all, if I wore a paper bag over my head which said MI5, it would undermine the whole object of the exercise.
Yes. But doesn't this rather fly in the face of the government, indeed MI5's policy of transparency?
Well, possibly, yes. Yes. But after all, it's not only an excellent disguise, but a very worthwhile public service message.
Yes, well, please take your litter home, certainly, yes.
But if you insist,
yes,
I can
would be better.
Remove it.
Not here.
Yes. There we are. Now, I must ask you to forget that you've ever seen me.
Yes. Well, I'll try to.
Good. Well, in that case, I can take this off.
Yes.
I shall certainly forget I've ever seen you, because my memory for names and faces is simply appalling.
Yes, good. Right. Could I ask you about Heathrow? About a week ago, there was, of course, a major security alert at Heathrow.
Yes, well, on the basis of information supplied to us, we made the judgment that there was a very strong possibility that a group of Middle Eastern terrorists would arrive here from North Africa and the Gulf,
yes,
and try to bring down a commercial aeroplane at Heathrow with a surface-to-air missile.
Yes, and so you sent in tanks and soldiers and armed police?
Yes, we surrounded Heathrow.
Yes. Nothing happened?
No, on the contrary. On the contrary, only 2 days later, a Venezuelan of Bangladeshi origin arrived at Gatwick.
Yes.
From Colombia in South America with a hand grenade.
Yes.
Is that just a coincidence?
I don't know, is it?
Yes. Yes, it was a complete coincidence.
Oh, yes. The fact that you got this man had nothing to do with any information that
no,
you got.
it was absolute pure luck.
Yes. But isn't it rather disturbing that MI5 has to rely on that?
No, because there's someone much wiser than myself in MI5, that wouldn't be difficult.
Yes.
Once told me that if you've got no intelligence, what you need is a lot of luck.
Yes. But now you've withdrawn the troops and the tanks.
Yes, we have.
Yes. Was it a hoax?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we sent in the tanks quite seriously. It wasn't a joke, as far as I know.
No,
it might have been, but I
mean,
don't
was
know.
the original threat?
Oh, I see, the threat. No, it was a credible threat.
Yeah, so why did you withdraw the troops?
Well, because we then got some information that the terrorists had actually left the country.
Really? Why do you think they would have done that?
It's hard to say.
Hard to say.
No, I mean, it may be that they were here on a 2-day city break.
Yeah.
And after seeing Madame Tussauds and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, they realised that they didn't have time to bring down an aeroplane.
No,
before their cheap ticket ran out.
do you have specific information that they saw Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
No, but it's an intelligent guess.
Yes.
I mean, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, by its very title, would appeal to tourists.
Yes. If you know that the terrorists left the country, you must have known they were here and where they were.
Well, would it be that simple? No, but intelligence isn't an exact science.
No, I can gather that. Yes.
No, it isn't.
No, but so now you think the threat is on a lower level. I mean, because in the United States it's different. The authorities there have just put the country on what they call a code orange alert. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes.
Right?
It was yellow. It's gone up
code
to
yellow
to
code orange. Do we have the same sort of system here?
Well, yes, but in a much more sophisticated way, naturally. Now, last weekend, our state of alert went from eau de Nil to an understated shade of pale lavender. Yes.
Is that higher or lower?
I can't remember. No. I'd have to look at my swatches.
Your colour. Absolutely. Of course, by a strange coincidence, this Heathrow alert took place on the very weekend of the Stop the War march. I mean, some people say that there might have been a connection there.
No, I must say that attitude displays an appalling cynicism.
Sorry.
I mean, after all, it's one of the core functions of MI5 to counter internal subversion.
So, as far as you're concerned, the march was a legitimate target?
Absolutely.
Yes.
And in many ways, for us, that particular target, the march, had some advantages. Because it's easier to spot a marcher, on the whole, than an Al-Qaeda cell.
Yes.
But on the whole, it's fair to say, I think, that our monitoring of the march was an enormous intelligence coup.
In what way?
Well, we were able to identify and photograph the ringleaders.
There weren't ringleaders, though, were they?
Oh, come on. I mean, if you have 3,000 people marching through the streets of London, there are bound to be ringleaders.
I think there were probably rather more than 3,000.
Look, here, who is the intelligent agent? Is it you or is it me? I'm trained in these matters.
Yes.
As I say, we were able to identify certain of the ringleaders. There was a Charles Kennedy, probably a pseudonym.
Yes.
He apparently likes to keep in the background a great deal.
Yes.
And a Ken or Ben or possibly Eileen Livingston.
Yes.
Who is known to have had connections with left-wing groups in the past, but has since dropped completely out of public view.
Yes.
And another very, very sinister figure, known only by her nom de guerre, Ms. Dynamite. Now, if you have someone who chooses such a cover name, I mean, bells start to ring.
But all these people are extremely well-known public figures.
No, but I mean, that's the oldest ruse in the world, isn't it? I mean, it's simply a front.
A front. There's a front.
A front.
They're
yes.
public figures in the front, but behind they're completely unknown.
Completely
yes.
unknown.
Yeah,
yes.
So what are you going to do about these people?
Well, as far as Ms. Dynamite is concerned, we're going to play it long.
You are, yes.
Yes, I've recruited an elite group of field agents, and they're going to eventually get alongside Ms. Dynamite and penetrate her.
Right. Yes. Actually, well, I mean, the trouble is that you have a problem, don't you?
What?
You have a you have a problem in the public. Many of the public don't actually believe that there is such a big threat because you don't give them the information, enough information.
Well, it's a very, very difficult, tricky balance to keep.
It is, yes.
On the one hand, we can tell the public absolutely nothing.
Yes.
And on the other hand, we can tell them everything we know.
Yes.
And luckily, as far as MI5 is concerned, they're much the same thing.
Yes. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Archangel.
Hello.
It's very good of you indeed to take the time to talk to us, as you traditionally do this time of year.
Not at all, not at all.
Here we are at the beginning of another year in paradise, and this is time for looking back and for looking forward, of course.
Yes, absolutely.
What do you see, principally, when you look back?
Well, I suppose my overwhelming impression, looking back, is of eternity.
Eternity. And looking forward?
Well, I'd say again, eternity.
Really? Are you saying that heaven doesn't change at all?
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, after all, another year has gone by, and, of course, eternity is a year older than it was a year ago.
Yes, the past is longer.
Yes, although, curiously enough, the future isn't shorter, but that's eternity all over, isn't it?
Yes, of course, absolutely. Well, what is it that's changed then? I understood that heaven couldn't change.
Well, of course, eternity is a very long time. But, time passes very, very slowly.
But it does pass.
It does pass, and there's a certain amount of, wear and tear. Yes. But what does pass very, very quickly, of course, is people's perception of heaven. And in today's world, I'm afraid, regrettably, perception is really what counts.
When you say regrettably, what...
Well, I say that because I find it very disappointing, when people who call themselves religious, and they're talking about heaven, and they say, well, nobody believes that when you get to heaven, you'll actually see angels with wings sitting about on clouds. Well, let's face it, you're an angel,
yes.
Those are the wings, and here is a cloud.
Here's
I mean,
a cloud,
what more do you want?
Yes, that's what you see is what you get.
Absolutely. And I mean, it goes deeper than that. I feel very pained by, so-called intellectuals and theologians, some bishops, who, they say heaven isn't really a place, it's a concept, it's a symbol, it's a cultural construct.
Yes, it's a metaphor.
Oh, say that word. I hate that word. I mean, I am an archangel, not a fucking metaphor. I feel very, very strongly about
this.
Yes,
no, I understand absolutely.
And, of course, then people, they get to heaven and they're, of course, terribly let down.
Because it turns out to be... precisely the sort of places that they've been so dismissive about.
Yes, and they go around in a very sniffy way saying it's all rather 70s, isn't it? Is it supposed to be unreal?
What can you do about it? Is there anything you can do about it?
Well, one can't. I mean, you can't tell people what to believe.
No.
I mean, that's up to them.
Yes. Free will, of course, they were given free will, weren't
Yes, some of us weren't very happy at that decision at the time, but, spilt milk and so on.
Yes.
But it does put us in an awfully difficult situation.
In what way?
Well, it puts us in a difficult situation because I think, we have to ask ourselves, is it our duty to provide all these facilities, for people who don't actually...
believe that we're real.
Well, absolutely. And so I think that what we've got to do is take a very long, hard, cool look at our admissions policy.
You're saying that heaven is in danger of becoming a soft touch?
Well, some have said so. I mean, traditionally, we have, of course, welcomed people of different cultural backgrounds and religious traditions.
Yes, the open pearly gates policy.
It has been called that, yes. I mean, in the past, we've been reluctant to impose any kind of restrictions upon entrance. Our policy has been, well, roughly, if you're dead, you can come in.
Yes, irrespective of race, colour or creed.
Yes, we've been very tolerant in that respect over the eons. I mean, I remember in the old days, we used to have a lot of pig worshippers.
Pig worshippers? It must have been before my time.
I think it was, yes. People who worshipped the holy pig.
The holy pig.
We had a whole bunch of them. But, you know, over the centuries, they settled down.
They became assimilated.
Yes. I mean, initially, they were understandably disappointed by some aspects of our lives up here.
What?
Not least the total absence of pigs, holy or otherwise.
Yes, and of course, just very recently, well, in the last 2 or 3 centuries, the population of the world has expanded enormously.
Oh, amazingly, yes. And it's been a tremendous headache for us because at the moment, you know, more people are born down there than any time in history.
And so more people are dying.
Yes, I think you could come to that conclusion.
You're saying perhaps that heaven is in danger of becoming overrun.
I think there is a very, very real and present danger of that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's a question of resources.
Resources to satisfy people's expectations of heaven.
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, look, we get, I don't know how many thousand people from the Islamic tradition coming here daily, on a daily basis. And, you know, a lot of them expect a bowl of sherbet and 7,000 virgins. I mean, if they're male.
Yes.
And that's each. Well, we've got to ask, you know, are we equipped to provide these wants and needs?
Yes. Well, you're saying perhaps that we have to draw a line somewhere.
I think we must. I think we must. I think we have to say to these, you know, people of different traditions, look, our sole responsibility, our prime responsibility, our overriding responsibility is to this core constituency who are properly qualified in every way to be here.
You mean members of the Church of England?
Members of the Church of England.
Yes. Could I put a hypothetical question to you in that case?
Please do.
What would happen if all the other people suddenly converted all at once, as it were?
To what?
To the Church of England.
Oh, well, I mean, that would be a complete disaster. I mean, God knows what we'd do.
Really? Yes. Well, of course, that must be a great comfort to you.
What is?
That he knows what to do.
Who knows what to do?
God.
Well, yes.
Actually, as we're on the subject, I was wondering whether it would be possible to arrange an interview with,
with God.
With God, yes. If it's possible.
I think that might be very, very tricky indeed.
Well,
I could probably arrange for you to see the Holy Ghost. Not, of course, that you will see the Holy Ghost.
No.
But you will know he's there because there'll be, you know, you'll feel very cold. There'll be a mighty rushing wind and a bright light. I mean, personally, I find all that rather tedious, but that's the way he likes to do things.
Yes, it's just that. Well, I've never seen God. I wouldn't expect to. I've only a junior angel,
yes,
but of course you must see him all the time.
As a matter of fact, not. No. Few people have seen him lately. Well, in fact, no one. I mean, that's why it's so difficult to make policy up here. I mean, you must have noticed that things are getting a bit shabby all round. You noticed that?
Sorry, I didn't quite follow. Where is he?
This is off the record, isn't it?
Yes, of course. Yes, if you say. Yes.
Well, the fact is, he's disappeared.
Disappeared?
Yes.
Well, he can't have done.
I think you'll find he can do anything he wants.
Well, yes, but has there been no sign of him? Or?
Well, we did find his swimming trunks in a little heap on the beach by the sticks, and a note.
What did it say?
It said, "I'm fed up with all this. Don't come looking for me."
This is terrible. Why do you think he did it?
Well, I think it's very much what we've been talking about, you know, that heaven isn't what it was. He used to say to me frequently, you know, I sometimes feel as though I'm living in a foreign country. I mean, there have been, you know, some sightings of him, nothing that's turned out to be reliable. One turned out to be Tony Blair, and someone else said that he was running a bar in Marbella, but that doesn't seem very likely.
But what are you going to do? You can't have heaven without God.
Well, we'll just have to carry on as best we can. You know, the place has got to be kept going, if only for, you know, people in the Church of England. After all, they have to have something to look forward to. Are you planning a second holiday, Leslie?
Well, yeah. We were thinking of going up the Nile again. But, we've had second thoughts about that.
Well, I'm not surprised. The last time you did that, you were machine gunned.
Yes.
By a group called the Brotherhood of Death.
Brotherhood of Death, yes. Yes, I mean, it wasn't that, no. I mean, actually, Audrey quite enjoyed that. She sort of... She made a change. She got on quite well with them afterwards.
Well, she's very outgoing.
She is outgoing, yes. But it's not that. It's
No.
I'm afraid that the way things are, Audrey and I are going to have to draw in our horns a bit. And we're between you and me, we're rather looking at a pensioner's black hole.
You're going back to Bournemouth.
No, I'm sorry. I'm talking about money. I mean, you must have read about the pensions crisis.
Oh yes, because you see, we're sitting on a demographic time bomb.
Yes, absolutely, and it's tragic. You know,
It is.
People worked hard all their lives and saved. You know, and now they're getting they're looking for getting half what they expected.
Well, sometimes less than that.
Really?
Sometimes less.
Yes.
And you remember, 30 years ago, people thought that the biggest social problem facing us was how to cope with all the leisure time we were going to have.
Absolutely. Everybody said the country will be full of 70-year-olds doing archaeology and abseiling and
Learning Sanskrit.
yes,
And joining the Conservative Party.
yes. Yeah, you have to be 65 to do that, don't
Well,
you?
of course
I
you
think.
do. Of course
But you
do.
see, I mean, instead of which we've got a system now, a thing where younger people are working 100 hours a week.
Yeah.
And older people are so poor, the only way they can heat their bedrooms is set fire to their socks.
Yes, and there was the pensions expert on the news the other day, and he said if you're 30 years old and you want a decent pension, you've got to invest 27% of your wages every month for the rest of your working life.
27? But nobody's going to do that,
No, of
are
course
they?
they're
I mean,
not.
not at that age.
No,
I mean,
no.
at that age, all you're interested in doing is reading pornographic magazines and smoking ecstasy. That's what I did when I was that age. You?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think we had ecstasy in those days. No, I used to make do with some Bruno flakes.
Oh, yes. But you see, now the state pension is worth absolutely nothing.
Absolutely, and you see these companies, they're cancelling, what's it called, the final salary scheme?
Yes, it's an absolute nightmare.
It is.
An absolute nightmare.
But luckily, we don't have to worry about it, do we? Because, we've already retired. I mean, you've got your pension from the bank, haven't you?
Well, I thought I had, but, I don't know. I mean, they might find a way of getting out of it. How do I know they're going to go on paying it?
Well, I mean, that would fly in the face of every principle of financial probity. I mean, what makes you think they do that?
Because they're a bank. That's the sort of things banks do. I should know. I worked for them for 40 years. They try anything, banks.
Have they said anything to you?
Well, no, but they wouldn't. You see, they wait till the last minute and then they'd spring it on you. I mean, that's what I used to do when I was a bank manager. Wait till somebody had bought a house or had twins and call them in and pull the plug. And banking was a lot of fun, actually, in those days.
Well, I think you're worrying unnecessarily.
Well, I don't
really
know.
do.
There's a story here in the paper today that the bank, my old bank, they've just sacked their finance director.
What for?
Well, he invested £2 billion in Argentinian securities.
Isn't that a contradiction in terms?
And you see, what's that? The bank lost a lot, you see.
Yeah, well, what does that have to do with your pension?
Well, you see, they've made him take early retirement, and they're paying him a pension of £500,000 a year as compensation.
Compensation for what?
For losing them £2 billion.
I see. Yes.
And he's only 38 years old. I mean, if he lives to be 80, that means the bank will have paid him £21 million by then. The money's got to come from somewhere. It's likely to be my pension fund.
Well, I suppose that is possible.
Yes. I don't know what to do. I mean, why do they pay him that money at all?
Well, I can answer you that, Leslie, because, he's a clever bloke. You've got to offer them a package and a pension like that, otherwise he wouldn't come and work for you in the first place.
Well, that's stupid. I mean, it can't be that clever. He just lost them £2 billion.
Well, he's cleverer than you, Leslie, because he's got the pension.
Yeah. That's absolutely true.
True.
Yes.
It's true. I mean, you should have thought of that while you were at work.
Yes.
You know, you should have set your sights a bit higher, I'm afraid.
And done what, exactly?
Well, just be more ambitious.
What?
Because if you practically ruined your bank, you'd have a pension of £500,000 a year now.
Yes, well, you never think about these things at the time,
you
do
don't,
you?
but
See?
you-
Well,
but
it's
you
not
should.
just me, though. I mean, well, you say, it's a terrible, grim outlook for anybody who's old. Anybody who's old.
It is. Well, there's no money for the pensions.
No.
There's no free care for the elderly, on long-term basis.
No.
And, there's bed blocking.
Yes, I'm familiar with that from Audrey. And it's NHS can't cope now.
No.
You see, what's the answer? I don't know.
Well, I've been thinking about this, and of course there is an answer.
What?
Free drugs.
Well, we get that already. I mean, we get free prescriptions when you're 60.
No. I mean proper drugs. Like heroin and that sort of thing. Because, the customs, they impound millions of pounds worth of drugs every year, and instead of destroying them, they ought to dish them out to the over 65s.
Well, what would that achieve?
Well, if they're going to have completely miserable lives, it's much better if they're oblivious to it, isn't it?
Yes, but I mean, of course, a bit of a social problem, wouldn't it?
No, well, they're not teenagers, They wouldn't sort of get into rucks. Is that the word?
I don't know.
So no, they wouldn't. They wouldn't do that.
Because, I see. Yeah, that's perfectly true. Well, certainly Audrey is far too feeble to take up ram raiding at this stage
She
of
is.
life. Yes.
And then you see people talk about the fact that the youth have no respect for the elderly.
Well, yes, that would change that.
It would,
Yes.
because, if you are a decrepit old bloke going around with a pocket full of crack cocaine,
Yes, you get credibility,
you
don't
get
you?
street cred.
Credibility. Well,
that's what you get.
And
respect,
yes,
man.
Yes, you would. That's what they say.
That's what they
enough
say.
respect, don't they?
Yes, respect.
Yes.
Give a lot of that.
That's a jolly good idea, Leslie. I mean, whereas now, everybody dreads the thought of growing old.
Well, then, you see, they'd have something to look forward to, wouldn't they?
Yes. Well, you see, the government
concrete.
aren't going to do it. They haven't got the vision.
No, they're not
They wouldn't.
They haven't
do
got the
that.
vision.
No,
You're absolutely
no,
right.
no.
But it's the younger generation, I feel sorry for.
Yes.
Because, apparently now, if you want to get a pension at all, you've got to work until you're 72.
Yes, but you won't. You will be redundant when you're 50.
Yeah, and then you can't get another job at 50, can you? So, there are millions of people much worse off than us.
Yeah, as you say, it is the younger generation that are going to suffer.
Yes.
Well, that makes me feel a lot better.
I'll drink to that,
Yes,
doesn't it?
very good.